Holy crap. Can't believe it's episode 14 of Mouth Dancing. So, 13 before this one. This is number 14. Wonder how many more I'll record after this. Maybe just one? Because life is fleeting. Or maybe I won't even record on one more after this. Maybe, when I walk out my door today into the freaking blistering heat, someone will behead me with a sword. Or just shoot me in the head with a bazooka. You never know what could happen. And I'm recording this on Sunday, I think it's June 25th. No, June 27th. And we're in the middle of a record heat wave in Seattle. It is crazy hot outside. It's like if you were... You know how under a nutsack, there's like that space between the nutsack and your chode? It'd be like if you were trapped underneath Satan's nutsack. That's how hot it is right now. And he was like sweating and working out. That's what it feels like. And you're having to like inhale his butt fumes and his chode smell and his dick juice and dick cheese and whatever else is there. It's like if you were being held by the weight of his balls in that little crevice there and you couldn't get out and just your head is peeking out from there. And you're inhaling, all that smell down there while he's working out and sweating. And, it's Satan, so he probably hasn't really showered or anything in a long time. I don't even know if Satan takes showers or not. He probably doesn't. And Satan is gigantic, too. I assume he is, if a full-grown human being can fit under his nutsack. He must be like 100 times bigger than us, right? But I guess he's kind of human-shaped. Except he usually has red skin and horns and sort of a animal kind of looking face and a tail maybe. Oh yeah, I think he has hooves too, right? Yeah, but that's the kind of Satan I'm picturing, is that version of Satan. I guess it comes from Christianity or something. But it's supposed to reach about 110 tomorrow. Today about 100. So I was going to get an air conditioner. I checked all the nearby, big box stores like Home Depot and Best Buy and Staples. But they were all out of them, so I didn't even bother driving over there. I guess they've been sold out for weeks at this point. Because people have been... I don't know, I guess people in the Northwest are using air conditioners more than they used to. When I lived in New York, I had to use we had an air conditioner out there. It's the kind that you put in your window. If you have a window that opens vertically and then the window just holds it in place. Usually you need something else, though, underneath it to hold it up a little bit. If there's a windowsill, or something that projects out past the window a little bit, like a little ledge. And sometimes you have to prop some stuff under the AC, like some little blocks of wood or something. But those are the classic ACs that they have all over New York City. I remember whenever I'd put mine in the window for the summertime, I'd get a little bit nervous about dropping the thing out the window. There could be people walking by down there. It was always a pretty scary thought. Dropping one of those on someone's head, killing them. And I remember during the hurricane that came, it wasn't Hurricane Irene, it was Hurricane Sandy. I remember thinking, what if the wind is so strong that the people's window AC units get dislodged and fall out off the building? But that didn't happen. I guess the wind doesn't get that strong. people pretty much ridiculed the idea when I posted it on Facebook back then. They're like, how could that possibly happen to an AC? The wind isn't that strong. But I didn't really know how hurricanes work, you know. I'd only lived through like one other hurricane before that. And it wasn't as strong. Hurricane Irene wasn't as strong as Hurricane Sandy. Because Hurricane Sandy really fucked up NYC. Some of the tunnels from Manhattan to Brooklyn got messed up. They were shut down for a long time because of that. But yeah, air conditioning is kind of a weird thing. It's like a mini refrigerator for your living space. It sucks out all the humidity and blows in cold air. The ACs we used to get were usually too small for our apartments though, so they were mildly effective. It was better than having nothing. But we didn't want to dish out for a really expensive AC, the bigger ones, because they're really expensive, and I don't know, they go bad after a while. They get kind of full of mold and shit, unless you clean them out constantly. And they're heavy as hell too. But we're just going it without AC right now, so just constantly sweating. Turn the fan on myself to cool off. To worry about keeping our dog cool too. Maybe we should get some ice packs and sit on them or something, or take an ice bath. We don't have a bathtub. Pretty damn hot in my apartment right now where I'm recording. Because I don't have an AC and all the windows are closed and the doors closed because I'm recording this. And I turned the fan off too because it would be too noisy. So as you can imagine, all my crevices are super sweaty right now, and my chest and my armpits, my neck, and my face. My face is always super sweaty when it's hot, which kind of sucks. Constantly, like, I look like I look like I'm just having a hard time, you know, all the time when it's hot out. My face gets all red when I'm skating. Or when I'm just sitting, actually, even when my wife said that my face gets all red when it's hot out. I guess that's how my body tries to cool itself down, is, I don't know, making my face all red. I don't know what that does, but maybe it helps me cool down. I was wondering if diarrhea is funny, because people joke about it a lot. It seems to be like a recurring theme in a lot of humor. But I think the main thing that's funny about it is the way it sounds, the word diarrhea. It just sounds kind of funny, doesn't it? Diarrhea. But actual diarrhea itself is not funny at all. Like if you have diarrhea, it's not funny, right? I mean, no one's ever laughing while they're having diarrhea. Or if you see diarrhea, it's not funny either. It's pretty disgusting, actually. So I wonder what it is about diarrhea that makes people laugh. Is it like the fact that someone has to run to the bathroom in like an urgent rush? And I don't know, I guess it's different from regular poop. It's like liquid. So if you have liquid coming out of your butt, I guess that's funny to some people. I don't know, I don't really find it that funny. I think you get dehydrated if you have too much diarrhea. You could die from it, actually. What the hell is so funny about that? But they actually like to joke around that ethnic food gives them diarrhea. They're like, oh my god, if I eat Indian food or Mexican food or whatever, Chinese food, I get diarrhea. I mean, I eat that kind of food all the time, but I don't get diarrhea from it. Probably need to expand your palate a bit if you get diarrhea that easily. But even in that instance, it's like, I guess it's funny that someone got diarrhea from eating a certain kind of food. But yeah, just thinking about diarrhea, it's like it splatters everywhere, and it could be like brown splatters, you know, in your toilet. They could even kind of fly out of your toilet if it's intense enough. I don't really think that's funny. and like the toilet water could splash back up and onto your butt and your legs. I don't think anyone's laughing when that's happening. So the main thing about it that seems funny to me is just the sound of the word diarrhea. And I guess maybe there's some sort of schadenfreude going on, like if someone else has diarrhea, it's funny to see them suffering for some people. I guess it's kind of a sadistic sort of humor, isn't it? No one ever thinks it's funny if it happens to themselves, with their loved ones. Like, oh dude, my mom has terrible diarrhea, she might die from it. That's hilarious, isn't it? I don't think anyone's ever having that train of thought. I think it's more like they think, oh, this person is a stranger that I don't know has diarrhea, that's funny to me, because I'm a sick fuck and I think it's funny when people are suffering. Well, personally, I don't think it's funny. Except the word itself is kind of funny sounding. Isn't it weird that if you live in an apartment building, or just any kind of multi-residential or multi-unit building, the only thing separating you from the people next door in the other rooms is just a wall? So if that wall wasn't there, it would just be a totally different dynamic. Like, because the wall is there, you can do all kinds of different private stuff. Like, you don't know, have sex or masturbate or be naked or rip farts. Or have certain conversations that you wouldn't want other people to hear. And it's just a wall separating you. So if you took like a cross-section of an apartment building and looked at the different units, like you could see one person sleeping in the next room, someone playing video games in the one over, some guy's jerking it, one over, some couples having sex, and then one below, someone's eating breakfast. It's kind of weird if you think about it that way, isn't it? Like all in the same building, all these different people doing totally different things, pretty much oblivious to what their neighbors are doing. Unless you have really thin walls and you can hear everything. But I mean, even then it's mostly just sounds that you hear, like music or their TV or their voices. But yeah, there could be in one room there's a person quietly watching a TV show. And then just like a few feet away, the only thing between them is a wall, and there's some guy, I don't know, looking at something on his computer or his phone and spanking it. It's kind of a funny thought, isn't it? I guess it kind of brings us all together, too. Sort of makes us feel like we're all part of the same family or community. What if they made apartments where there were no walls at all? It'd be like kind of like I don't know, like you're in the military or something, and all your beds are in this huge room, like you're all just right next to each other. You had no privacy at all. I guess there are illegal squats like that, or not squats, but sometimes, like in New York, I remember hearing stories where they would bust some kind of landlord for having a bunch of, illegal tenants all living in a place like that. They would take their building and turn it into an illegal residential unit and just rent it to people, I guess people who maybe don't have citizenship or green cards, or they're just poor maybe. I wonder what goes on in those places. I'm sure people have to relieve themselves once in a while, like young horny dudes. I wonder if they're spanking it in there. Even just, playing a video game next to someone could be kind of weird. Because they might keep staring over at you to see what you're doing, and you get annoyed that some guy keeps looking at your phone or your TV screen. I'm not sure where this is going, but that's just a thought I had. I guess my message is we should be tearing those walls down that separate us. Or actually, no, I'm a fan of walls. I like them. I worked in an open office layout before and it sucked. I prefer having cubicles. I think the open office layout is kind of a scam. It's all about increasing production. You know, if workers feel like someone's eyes are on them all the time, they're more likely to just be constantly on edge and working, you know. They're not going to be browsing the internet as much. Well, actually, maybe that's not true. I remember in the open office, some of my coworkers, they'd still, you know, obviously be browsing the net, even though everyone could see what they're doing. So, yeah, they don't even increase productivity, so might as well have the walls there so you have more privacy. Like, I don't need to see my coworker eating their lunch at their desk. I don't know, looking at some stupid website and pretending to work. Maybe also they think that it increases collaboration between employees, but I don't think that's true either. I mean, a cubicle is not going to stop you from going and asking your coworker for some help or, you know, with a question or something. So yeah, actually build more walls. We need more walls separating us. Build lots of them. Anyway, that's it for episode 14. I gotta bring this to an end because it's fucking hot as hell. And I need to open a window, my doors. Or my door, I only have one door. And I gotta turn my fan on. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.